Are you looking for tasty tortillas that are grain-free and dairy-free? These simple, healthy tortillas are the perfect solution. Easy to make and full of flavor. Let's dive in. So we need 1/3 cup of sweet potato flour. Okay. And then a tablespoon and a half of cassava flour, which is also, like, if you don't have a half tablespoon measure, you can use a teaspoon and a half. 1.5 teaspoons is the same as half a teaspoon. Right, there's a tablespoon. Wait. There's the teaspoon. And here's the half teaspoon. And 1/32 smidgen of salt. Okay. Now we need a tablespoon and a half of coconut oil. I'm just gonna say that looks about like a half, maybe a little bit under. That'll be okay. And I'm gonna cut this together. There we go, until it's well combined. Now I'm gonna add my water. 2 tablespoons and 2 teaspoons. But you may want to add the last little bit gradually, just in case your climate, season, flowers, or anything have a different level of moisture than mine do. And there is a lovely sweet potato smell, and it does taste a bit like sweet potato, but the texture is great. And I mean, I like the flavor of the sweet potato. So as long as they're not your least favorite food, I think you'll like this. And if you're enjoying this content, if you could please like and subscribe, that would be great. Alright, and this recipe is just for 1 tortilla. So here we have our tortilla here. Let's go over to the press. Alright, here we are. You can use a produce bag for your plastic liner. Get a little more sweet potato flour and dust it on the top. Then grab your rolling pin and start flattening it out a little more. And if you get any on the rolling pin, make sure to take it off. Otherwise, it will make a bump in your tortilla. And at this point, I'm gonna preheat my skillet, cast iron skillet, on high for 2 minutes. Now it seems thin enough on this half, but this part still needs a little more pressing. Alright, our skillet is nearly ready, so I'm gonna go ahead and take the plastic off of the tortilla very gently, being careful not to break the edges. Alright, that's for our skillet. It is preheated. So I'm gonna turn the temperature down to a 6 and slap my tortilla in there. And because of the camera movement and everything, I ended up getting a little bit of a hole here because it stayed on my hand for a little bit longer than normal. But that is repairable. And I'm gonna set the timer for 1 minute. Alright, there's our tortilla timer. I think when it was preheating, it didn't preheat quite as much as normal. I'm try to let some of that air out so that can get more cooked. But anyways, this first tortilla may take a little bit longer than other tortillas, so I'm just gonna set the timer for another minute and then check back on it. Alright. There we go. Beautiful. And I'm gonna give it another minute on the second side. Alright, let's see how that second side is. Ooh, look at that. Beautiful. Soft tortilla. Ready to make into a quesadilla, burrito, or whatever you like. Enjoy. But how does it taste? Alright, let's see. What do you know? It tastes like a tortilla. There's just a hint of that sweet potato flavor. But I think this would make a great quesadilla. That's how I'm gonna eat it.